loves, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a really cool topic. We don't get to talk a lot about like things happening in current media. I mean, we will as we we'll do like breakdowns and different things, but we are going to be talking about Moon Knight today. If you have not seen Moon Knight, please go to Disney Plus and go see Moon Knight. It is a series based on a comic book character, specifically a Marvel comic book character, but it includes the ancient Egyptian, the Kemetic pantheon. And so we have a lot. I have a lot of thoughts. I wrote down my notes on my iPad, so we're going to be discussing all of the things. And some of the things that stood out to me, some of the things I was really happy and excited to see, and just we have to get into it. Before I get started, I just want to let you guys know today is the last day to use the code LUNAR for 30% off all of my services. So definitely make sure that if you need a reading or anything like that, you take advantage of it. And the link to my website will be down below. And also, I just wanted to announce that I am now doing 3-month spiritual counseling sessions. I'm really excited about it. I've been having quite a bit of because I have a 1-session spiritual counseling. I have a 3-week spiritual counseling, and literally my ancestors, my spirits, my guides were like, you need to put a 3-month one because people need more time. So I'm doing a 3-month spiritual counseling, which includes so many different things, past life readings, astrology readings, a 1-to-1, like spell session specifically for like planning out like spell prep. And like, if you need me to be a part of the spell, like not me partaking, but me kind of helping kind of guide and put stuff together, that would be part of it as well. There's like it's a lot. There's journal prompts. It's for 3 months. You're basically it's a little bit of spiritual counseling, yes, but it has mentorship kind of vibes to it. And if you have a specific kind of thing that you want to focus on, or a specific part of your practice and stuff like that, we would be customizing it to what it is that for the 3 months that you want to work on or develop spiritually, and such and such. So I'm really, really, really excited. The link will be down below for those who want to check it out or want to get more information on it. But yeah, it's for 3 months. You stuck with me, and I'm going to be helping you thoroughly, and we're going to be diving in, and it's very much an intensive with me for 3 months. But yeah, the goal is for you to come out a lot more spiritually grounded, and for you to not only have a stronger practice with your ancestors, do a lot of healing work. It's literally like you're working with me for 3 months, which I really, really love, and I'm really excited for it. That includes past life, that includes astrology, it includes a lot of things. So I'm really excited for it. So yeah, definitely check it out in the link down below. And if you would definitely need, I wouldn't say you could use the discount on it unless you do the consultation first, because I do need to have a consultation beforehand with you. So that is a separate session. And the reason for the consultation is because I need to know we're going to work well together. So it's just, checking the vibe, checking what you want to work on. And that helps me plan out what the months ahead will look like as well. So yeah, check all that stuff out in the link down below. With that being said, we're going to get started on this video. And I'm just going to start with my notes. Okay. So, the first one we have, with Moon Knight, because again, it is based on a Marvel comic book character. For those who don't follow Marvel movies, superhero movies, one of the things about Moon Knight is that, especially within Marvel, is that there's been one other, and for the rest of the remainder of this video, I'm just going to say ancient Egyptian god. I'm not going to bounce, or ancient Egyptian period. And I'm not going to bounce within Kemetic and ancient Egyptian, because then I'm just going to confuse people, but they are interchangeable. So ancient Egypt, Kemet, same thing. Okay. But just for the sake of not confusing anybody, like Kemet it's the original name. But just for the sake of not confusing anybody, I'm just gonna say ancient Egyptian. So with Black Panther. If you saw Black Panther, they featured Bast in Black Panther. Okay, so that was the first out of the Neterus. I will be saying Neterus and not ancient Egyptian gods though. So out of the Neterus, the one that's in Black Panther is Bast, and that's the first ancient Egyptian representation that we see in Marvel, and I would say in modern time, because there hasn't been like no movies and stuff like that. There just hasn't been. Even Death on the Nile had nothing to do, like that movie. It was like a murder mystery, which was really bad. I don't know why they're filming in the way. Anyway, that's a whole side stuff. When it comes to opinions, I really love murder mysteries. I'm a huge Clue girl. I love mysteries. Anything. I love Batman. Batman's my favorite superhero. With Thor, Spider-Man, and I could probably do a whole nerdy breakdown some other time. But and Doctor Strange. Love Doctor Strange. But when it comes to the representation modern day about anything that has to do with ancient Egyptian or any type of like looking back into it, you haven't really seen it, okay, except for like Bast making a cameo in Black Panther. That was kind of it. And so we're getting ancient Egyptian representation. They're talking about the different Neterus. Neterus would be like what, you know, others would call gods and goddesses and whatnot. And so we're seeing not only ancient Egyptian representation, but we're also seeing modern Egyptian representation, because they had Egyptian like actors playing it. I believe the lead, the guy who plays Steven and Mark in the show, he's actually Ecuadorian, which is interesting because his British accent was really like, I believed it. I was like, oh damn. But he's actually Latino, which is interesting. And it, like, just his character was just like super interesting. But they did have modern day Egyptian representation in the show, because I believe Layla, the actress who plays Layla, is from Egypt, and she was playing Egyptian as well, which is why that line of like, oh, are you an Egyptian superhero? I was just like, yeah, like that was such a cute line. I really loved seeing it. And it's just like sweet seeing, you know, Egyptians being represented, especially because like a lot of it has been whitewashed within certain movies and certain things in the past, like by literally just getting British actors or something like that, when, you know, Egyptians modern day very much represent Egyptians from the ancient times visibly. Like they have the features, they have like, it's all there. And so it was really sweet to me seeing that representation, seeing the culture represented. There's different traditions that modern day Egyptians still have from ancient Egyptians, and that were kind of portrayed as well throughout the show. You would see kind of things in the background, different practices, times of eating and stuff like that, and it was just really interesting to see like certain things like kind of sprinkled in. And I'm really happy that they got that representation, because they really need to be casting more Egyptian actors to play ancient Egyptians. Like, y'all, come on now. And so it was really nice seeing that representation of modern day Egyptians, and having like ancient Egyptian representation as well. Now, there's quite a bit going on in the show. I feel like my favorite character was Layla, because she's just a badass, like, let's just be real. But before we even get to Layla, we have to talk about the Enid. We have to. So it translates to nine, okay, in Latin. The Kemetic word would be the I cannot pronounce this right. It's the Pesajet. I'm saying it wrong, but what it is, because my tongue is just gonna twist it. But it just means the 9 in ancient Egyptian as well. And it is made up of 9 different Neterus that are part of the creation story, the ancient Egyptian creation story. Now, one of the things that a lot of people like to brush over is that, you know, Egyptians are indigenous people to their lands. Like, they're literally Indigenous people. Their land and their peoples have been colonized over time, but they are still indigenous people. And you can see that if you look at the DNA of modern day Egyptians being literally the same as, like, because they be testing the mummies like to their DNA, like they be like, oh, update, you got 70%, like it's crazy, it's literally crazy to me. But they are indigenous people, they are indigenous to their lands. And when it comes to indigenous people always have a creation story, from Native Americans in the United States to globally. There's always a creation story. There's always an understanding of how they became to be, how the sun came to be, especially because the Netrus represent different aspects of nature. As you know, we can dive in and talk about, you know, different ways of like how we're gonna dive into all of the Netrus and all of the things they represent, all of the things that they rule, all of the, we're gonna, like, that's what this series is about. It's more for education, because more people should be educated within this pantheon, okay? But they are indigenous people, okay? And so the practices are very much indigenous practices, but the Enid, let's just call it, let's just use the term that the 9 gods, okay, the 9 Netrus, they are part of the creation story. So we're not going to dive into the creation story today, because this video is going to be real long. So we're going to break that down in a separate video. We will talk about it. But all indigenous people have a creation story, and an explanation for different aspects of nature, like the sun, which is part of the 9, the winds, the water, all of these things are part of the 9, which is part of the creation story. So we'll dive into that separately in another video. But I just thought it was so cool that they brought it up. I thought it was so cool that they had highlighted that, like, hey, just in case you didn't know, like, there's just like and the way that they referenced it, it was like there's a group of super, like a super group of gods, like, that are just, you know, they kind of come together. There's a lot of different stories about them, but they're always connected to different creation stories, which is, again, they're indigenous people, so they do have different stories, and stories matter 1000%. Stories always make a huge like, just foundational component of all indigenous peoples, of all indigenous cultures, because they are the stories that get passed down and are told as the explanation of all of the things that you see, the winds. And again, when it comes to ancient Egypt and Egypt itself, there's a lot of nature-based stuff. You have the desert, you have the Nile River, you have different elements of nature and different things that they would look at, different animals that were represented around them that were literally deified, that were elevated as Netrus, that were seen as, oh, you are representative of this. And so the creation stories and the different ways that the Netrus and the 9 are represented is a part of creation. It's a part of understanding how they got about to being there in the first place. Creation stories are really, really important to understand the core beliefs of those peoples specifically, and this goes generally to, again, all indigenous peoples. In order for you to understand what, like, the different aspects of your the different beliefs within the culture, you need to also understand how you even thought you came to be. And so there's always an explanation to that throughout, and I'm gonna be making more reconnecting native videos, because I think it's important to look at the different ways that you reconnect to your culture and understanding different aspects of your culture, and looking at your creation story, how you came to be, is really, really, really important. And so it goes back to them. And so I thought that was really, really, really cool that they just kind of put it in there. I was just like, I literally was watching, I was like, oh my God, Stephen brought this up. Like, I was just like a little bit hyped. Before we get into the rest of it, before we get into breaking down all of the different Netrus that were in there, I just want to also highlight the fact that I really love that mental health was a focus of the show itself, and like different aspects of different, having different multiple personalities. And I just thought that the way it was done, oh my God, brilliant. It was so brilliant. I really, really, really enjoyed. I just really, really enjoyed it. Anyway, continuing on, I'm crossing this out. So, Khonshu, okay, which is basically the main one that is taking, you know, a lot of the especially because of the being, you know, Steven slash Mark, okay. Watch the show if you don't understand what I mean. You need to watch the show, or else everything that I'm saying is like, Abby, what are you saying? Multiple personalities, let's just say that. But Steven slash Mark specifically is avatar to, so Steven and Mark is the avatar to Khonshu. Khonshu is the specifically rules over time and personifies the crescent moon. So it's very, very much moon focused, and that's why the name is called Moon Night, right? And that's why there's different parts of it where, you know, Moon Knight, as he calls him, he's always saying, "Rise, my Moon Knight," and then he like goes up in the air towards the moon and then creates like that crescent, which is beautiful. Like the way they did it, the way they filmed it was amazing. Also, oh, I forgot to mention, the director is also Egyptian, which is great, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, which is great. Again, leading to more of that representation that I loved. But yeah, Khonshu it's really important because Khonshu rules over time. The moon personifying the crescent moon. So in the comics books and in the show, very important, right? And so really, really interesting to see like that scene where he's turning back the night sky. Oh my God, absolutely. Like I was screaming. I was just like, ah! I was screaming. I was screaming. Especially because looking at the stars is something that was done so much in ancient times in Egypt, is literally part of different, you know, things being built due to certain stars in the night. Like y'all, I was screaming. It was absolutely beautiful the way they did that. But Khonshu is the main one. Amit, which is the one who's the crocodile head, right? Is known as the devourer of the dead. Okay, so we're gonna break down again all of these, but specifically the job is to feed on the souls, the hearts. Okay, the hearts. So one of the things that we talked about was ma'at and the scales, right? The scales. After you die, your heart gets weighed against the feather of ma'at specifically, which is the feather of balance. And so when your heart is not on balance, and you know, people talk about, oh, your heart getting weighed against the feather. Okay, but when it's not, Amit eats it. Okay, Amit eats it. Yeah, we're all talking. Well, getting a whole separate video, but I just wanted to tease that aspect of it. But very, very protective and focused on order. Okay, focused on order, which is why I thought it was so interesting the way that they like portrayed Amit in the show. It was just really, really interesting. Taweret, I believe, I'm definitely saying that wrong. Which is the hippo. Also, Layla becomes her avatar, which was really cool. Specifically ruling over childbirth, and protecting mothers, and protecting like from, you know, evil and different kind of spirits, like low vibrational spirits and stuff like that. Really, really, really sweet. Loved the person who did the voice, which is beautiful. But I love that there was this like back and forth with, okay, Layla, are you gonna be my avatar? Will you be my avatar? I think you need to become my avatar. And this is, I'm looking at what you're doing, and I feel like the way I can extend my help is for you to, you know, commit and be my avatar. And so it was so interesting how, you know, she became an avatar, and just like kind of, oh my God, her taking kind of the power, just her, oh my God, it was just amazing. It was just really amazing. And I really loved her costume. What if that is a Halloween costume this year? I'm doing either that one or, oh my God, it's either going to be Scarlet Witch or it's going to be that. I'm still debating. It's hard because Doctor Strange, I could make a whole nother video about Doctor Strange. Y'all, Scarlet Witch literally dreamt walk. We could talk about that. I'm going to have to make a separate video if you're in for my nerdy talks, because honestly, Doctor Strange has a lot of spiritual things that we could break down, honestly. Let me know in the comments if y'all want me to talk about it. But yeah, I really, really, really loved the way that that she connected with Layla, and I loved her explaining different things to Mark and Steven when it came to, you know, your both of your hearts are not weighed, and then that moment where and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling something, to pause this video if you want to skip some spoilers, but that moment when Mark's heart isn't, you know, it's not balanced, Mark's and Steven's heart is not balanced, and so, you know, Steven gets tossed over and then it becomes balanced. I thought that was amazing, like the way that happens, like he created a whole entire soul within him, so he was carrying two souls, or more if you actually watch the ending. We'll talk about it another day. Also, there's supposed to be a season 2. I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place. The next one was Osiris was mentioned as well, which is the Nesharu that rules over the underworld. Specifically, the scene that I really thought was interesting was when they were on when she kind of like tried to stop the sands from like that. I don't know how to describe it. The sands by moving the boat, and by she, I mean Tara, the hippo, that's true. And she like moved the ship, and when Mark and Steven were running to the gate, that was Osiris's gate, because again, he rules underworld. So once they had to like walk through, she was just like, oh, he's not gonna like it, because it's like somebody's escaping from the underworld. So I thought that was really interesting how they like incorporated different things. There are some other like Nesharus that they mentioned but didn't play such a big role, like Isis did not play a big role, but she was in the audience of the Great Pyramid when all of them got summoned, because she is one of the main ones as well. Horus was also there, got summoned but did not, you know, you didn't really get to interact. Hathor was there, and you got like Mark Steven got to interact with her a little bit, and I thought it was kind of really sweet how she was really just trying to be helpful. And I mean, it kind of goes with her personality, because she's very much rules over love, fertility, music, and just wanting to she's very much Venusian energy, like just wanting pleasure, just wanting things to be good, and kind of recognizing that when something's not good, and then just wanting to direct the mood and the energy back to that. So I thought that was interesting. And yeah, so Tefnut was mentioned as well, which is the Nesharu that rules over rainfall. Okay, so like the dew, the morning rain, moisture. Okay, and her brother Shu was also mentioned, which rules over the air and like dryness. But I hope, you know, season 2, because I did see that I believe that there's going to be a season 2, that they kind of dive into some of the other ones and like incorporate them in different ways. Khonshu's definitely doing, you know, a lot, but I just really loved Layla, the representation. I loved her curly hair, just beautiful. It was just, go watch the show. I really enjoyed it. And then after, go watch Doctor Strange, because it was amazing. Oh my god. And just honestly, when it comes to Doctor Strange, can we just talk about how it's a whole witch that just went off? It was a witch. A witch is the most powerful Avenger. Like I'm still screaming. I saw the movie with Babe, and I'm still like, I walked out of there like, but it's fine. I'm not mad. I'm really happy about it. But definitely go watch Moon Knight. It was definitely interesting to see the way they used all the characters, the way that they kind of incorporated different things. The booby traps inside the temple, trying to find like the scarab, trying to find on its like location, previous Avatar who had her statue, and the fact that their statues were specifically like holding their spirit, like the way that they kind of got trapped in there by like, oh my god, y'all just go watch it. It was really amazing. It was really amazing to see. And yeah, we're gonna break down and talk about like way more, but I definitely wanted to talk about Moon Knight because I really enjoyed seeing it just being put on the screen. I feel like they need like, especially the ancient Egyptian like gods, or like they're not trues, need to be more like better represented, because they get romanticized a lot. So it was interesting seeing them in this context where it's like Amit's like the villain. Amit has this like like, no, I'm gonna just take out people before they do the thing. I'm just gonna take them out of this. Like, it was just so interesting, the way everything happens and the way that they kind of express them. And yeah, I feel like they feel like it's all love anyway. Like, up there, they feel like it's all love, but they do like that when they do get representation. I do get that general sense when I'm at my altar, like, we're not forgotten about. But yeah. Anyway, I hope that y'all enjoyed me ranting about Moon Knight, but I definitely, if you haven't seen the show, go see it. I love you guys so much. I will see you on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Patreon down below. I love you guys.